Hi, everybody. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to Science Gal Aquatics Live. And tonight, I just want to give a huge thank you to Aqua Funk for the super short notice. But thank you so much for being on the live stream tonight and chatting with me. I'm so excited to just see where the conversation goes.
There's no telling. There's no telling. I appreciate you asking. I was very happy that you asked me to. I don't know. I just thank you. Thank you for having me.
You guys are superstars in my head, so it takes me a little bit of nerve to be like, I'm going to message you and see.
No.
But you guys, I admire you guys so much, and I had a freshwater butterfly fish at one time in the fish room, and I watched your video over and over and over again, but unfortunately, it jumped and.
Ropefish and butterfly fish, I have yet to be able to contain those two fish.
Yeah, I had
you have Haley on all the time.
I've had her on. I've chatted with her a few times. I think she's actually only been on once, but
okay.
We chat all the time. Every time I have a question, she's my go-to gal.
Yeah, I cannot keep a ropefish or an African butterfly in a tank. Even that little itty bitty space where you cut out for the filter, it gets out.
Yep. And I thought I had kept it for a while. I thought I was doing good, and then I probably got a little too cocky. But I really enjoyed it for the time I had it. And I had a ropefish back in the day with some green spotted puffers that I didn't know what I had when I had it. And then that lasted for a little while. And then I would say it was probably last year sometime, the local fish store got a ropefish in and it jumped. And they found it on the floor, and I was there. They're like, we'll give it to you for nothing, but I can't guarantee. And I tried my darndest to keep that thing alive, but it did not make it. So that was my occasions with ropefish.
And it's a shame because I love keeping ropefish, but I feel terrible because I'm like, I know I'm just going to let you die. Like, I know that you're going to die if I bite.
And I try so hard. I do all I possibly can.
Yeah.
And it's still.
They're like dogs. They're like little dogs. They kind of just,
Yeah.
I love ropefish.
I loved watching that butterfly fish eat because it reminded me. I think you even said it in your video because I have a silver arowana too, and I was like, it's like the little mini me. And the way it ate crickets and everything, I loved it. And I thought I had it in a little 10-gallon aquarium for a while, and I thought everything was zipped up tight for the lid, but all was well, and then not.
Somebody should make a video on how to successfully not just talk about it, but literally look at my tank. They cannot get out. I was thinking maybe putting like the egg crate. Like if you had a 40 breeder, because a 40 breeder would be great because it has so much surface area, and using the egg crate as a lid. But
I have the hoods that they come in. What?
John Larson says screams.
Screams. John Larson says. Jesse's over here yelling at me. By the way.
Oh yeah. That's what I need somebody yell at me.
Yeah, well, I have tried the reptile hoods. I have tried the glass hoods. I have tried the hoods that it comes with. I have tried like the plexiglass type where you cut it to like fit perfectly.
Perfect, yeah.
I've tried like the chicken coop screens that are really fine metal. And it's like clamped to it. I've tried a few things, and we'll see eventually.
But hey, real fast, how many people we have on?
11, I think. Online.
11 people. Listen, 11 people. First of all, everybody give a thumbs up. Second of all, go ahead, hit that little share button, and let's get as many people in here as possible. You can do it on your Facebook page. If you have a community page, go to FishTuber's notification. 11 links on FishTube notification would be nice. So everybody go ahead and share. If you have to leave for a second and come back, that's all right. So let's go ahead and share.
We'll be here. We have some cool people here, though. The Zinginger's here, and Candy's here, and Tiffany White's here. DMC Productions is here.
Tiffany White. Look at back there. That's Tiffany White's angelfishes in there. One of them is crazy beautiful. Where is it? Where are you?
I finally got to go see my dad's angelfish at his house because I haven't been over there. I set up a tank for his birthday, and then all of this hit. And he's got 6 marbled angelfish that have grown quite nicely in a 30-gallon, and they're all paired up. There's 3 pairs in there, and I feel like they need to be separated a little bit, but there's so much plants that have grown that they seem to still be okay. So
yeah, I love marble angelfish. Tiffany White sent me over some blue marble angelfish pearl scale, and I personally think marble angelfish are the strongest of the angelfish because they have different DNA. They're not so inbred. They're pretty much mutts. But just like dogs, it's always the mutts that are the strongest. So yeah.
He's like these since I was born, and he's got them in with 15 neon tetra, and it's heavily planted. He's never had live plants before, so I got him live plants for the first time and set this all up for his birthday. And he has a brain injury, so it lightens up his day, gives him something to look forward to. I got him a really cool, expensive light that's on a timer and all this stuff. And I think it brings a lot of something to look forward to and watch. I tried to add shrimp in there, but I think the angelfish got them.
They definitely ate.
We did get a super chat. It was a $2 super chat from Big Renzo, I believe is how you say it. I'm horrible with
that's Big Renzo. All right, Big Renzo. Let me introduce you to Big Renzo.
A friend of ours is a friend of mine. That's awesome. Huh? He said a friend of yours is a friend of mine.
Yeah. Big Renzo. He's in California, right? And he talks real slow, but he talks real, deliberate. And he's an awesome dude. I met him because I watched a video on this big burly black guy, right? He's a big burly black guy, and he was like, "Hey, let me show you my 125 with my feeder guppies." I'm like, this dude got a 125 with feeder guppies, and I'm like, that is not what the stereotype's supposed to be. But over the years, me and Renzo became really good friends, and he's trying to get his YouTube game going. So, Big Renzo, thank you, brother.
I feel like I recognize the name in watching your live chats all the time.
Yeah, he'll be in there. But I
try to catch as many live chats on everybody's channel as I possibly can because everybody is a friend.
Yeah, and it's it's difficult to do. I feel bad sometimes because I cannot catch, and sometimes I just don't want to watch a live stream, but doing this, you have to show support if you expect support. But at the same time, if you look on FishTuber's notification, every hour is spoken for. It's like, man, I got life to live. I gotta live the life.
One of the reasons why it took me so long, one, I was scared because I can't see very well, so reading the chat is kind of scary. And I did not want to step on anybody's toes. I was like, everybody's got their spot, and I enjoy watching them so much. But
I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been doing this for 3 years, FishTubing for 3 years, and I gotta tell you, the stepping on the toes thing. Some people get real, butthurt about it. But the truth is, nobody owns YouTube. You have to do what's right for you when it's right, and if it means you're going on when somebody else is, let the viewers decide who they want to watch, and if you've been live streaming for a long period of time and somebody comes up and takes and is in the same slot, and people maybe you want to do something different on your live stream, keep you relevant, you know what I mean? So don't feel bad about that. I don't at all.
I spend most of my days feeling bad about something. I'm a mom, and everybody hates me, but then they love me again.
I'm a dad.
You get it.
My girls, because I have a 7.5-year-old, she'll be 8. She was born 12/12/12. She'll be 8.
Oh, really?
She'll be 8. Yeah, she'll be 8 in December 12th, and I'm telling you, I feel like a stranger. Like I feel like a guest that has been overstayed his welcome at my house.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Like,
We have 2 8-year-olds. My son just turned 8 in June, and Jesse's daughter is turning 9 in September. So right now they're on their overlap, and they say they're twins because they actually they do look like everybody thinks they're twins, and I'm always wrong. And even when I'm like, you know what, he is right. Dang it! Like,
well,
can't argue with them, but I spend most of the time getting yelled at, cleaning up messes. But at the end of the day, they give me a hug and it all melts away.
no, my 7-year-old tells me what to do. Like she thinks she's her mother.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and then some of the times, her she'll say something and her mother will look at her like, where did she get that from? And I'm like, who you think? Who do you think she got that from? Huh?
Yep. You can tell whose parent he's been around more because Jesse, he's been around Brighton since he was 2, almost 3. So he's been around Brighton. That's his dad for most of his life. And he's got his stubbornness and my attitude. And this poor kid, let me tell you, it's awful. He'll be like, now, Mom, that's not how a mom's supposed to treat their son. And I'm like, I'm not doing nothing.
Hey, gotta ask you fast. Who is it Amber who's doing the ladies' night, or is it you that's doing the ladies' night?
It's Amber, and it's co-hosted by Haley, but I believe it's always on Big City Beta's Amber's channel.
Haley, wasn't you on there?
Yeah, I was a guest with Priscilla.
Okay.
And if I remember off the top of my head from the last stream, I feel like it's going to be just Shrimp Granny this week and possibly someone else, but I could totally be making that up too. But I feel like it's Amber and Haley are like the co-host, and then they'll have different ladies on each week. But
no, I was just
could be wrong.
Since the beginning, I've always been impressed with the way a lot of females have their tanks because they seem to be a little bit more patient and methodical, whereas guys kind of, I'm gonna get this fish and then I'll get a bigger tank later, or I'll do this later. So I noticed that was a thing going on where all the ladies was, girl power. I was like, go ahead with your fast.
I know she was starting it, and I know Susan, the fish fam mom, tries to do one in the morning. It's more in the afternoon, morning times, every so often. But we did get another super chat from Q Aquatics, a $4.99 super chat. Funk rocks, which I agree.
Q, I love you. Q, I love you. So, okay, everybody here, let me give you guys an update because a lot of you guys were really awesome yesterday on my live stream where I was a little out of character. Normally, I'm kind of like woo, but I did get a message from DPK saying that he appreciates everybody's help. He did we as a community raised enough money for him to get some gas in his car, catch up on his car insurance, so that he can drive to the places he needs to drive to get back on his feet.
That's
so
awesome.
I would like to thank you guys for that. I do have on that video that I did yesterday, there are links for PayPal. The video, his last video, if you want to, give a few kind words. And there's also a GoFundMe. So, there's multiple ways because this is an ongoing. I'm not saying that, look, we're going to cure his illness because it's a lifelong thing that he has to go through. But let's get him past this ditch, this valley that he's in, and hopefully he can get back on his feet and continue to support us. Plus, all of us need that one extra person with watch time. We need that watch time, and he does that for us. So come on.
Well, I know after your stream yesterday, I just learned, well, I didn't learn, but I gained so much more. Like, I've always respected you and admired you, but I just gained so much more after watching your chat because, one, I felt like I related to the conversation a whole bunch. And I just wanted you to come on and do what we could to help out what little bit more we could help out. So,
well, yeah, And to be honest with you, just talk. Look. I don't want to be misrepresent myself. I don't know about this illness.
Mhm.
I know that it exists. I know people close to me suffer from this. I
Mhm.
do not. Um, and like I was telling you earlier, I hold my mental faculties, like my
Mhm.
my uh my what's the word I'm looking for? My self-control is very important to me.
Mhm.
Very important to me. So to have my mind kind of betray me like that, I wouldn't know what to do, you know. So like I said, I'm not an expert on this subject, but
Mhm.
I saw this and I felt like, you know, I can't do anything. I don't have money coming out. You know, I still got to worry about next month, you
Yeah.
know. So at least getting people to talk about it. Maybe we say something to the right person who can do something about it, you know.
Mhm.
Um, like this stream right now. You know, if there wasn't anybody who saw my stream yesterday, well, in the comments below, you could talk about it right now. And
Yeah.
I've gotten a lot of DMs and emails from people that everybody here knows,
Mhm.
that you'd be surprised, that say the same thing, you know, that saying the same thing. I
Yeah.
suffer from this too, or I have
Mhm.
a family member who suffers from this too. So I
Yes.
appreciate you. So
Yes.
I appreciate them too.
I was surprised. I haven't met tons of people in this hobby in person, but the few that I've met, I was surprised on just how much we did have in common and how introverted. And it was just because in my head, I just thought they were these big personalities to look up to. And that's something I do admire, someone to walk into a room like Haley did on that auction one time and just
Yeah,
pick up
yeah.
the slack and
Killed
just
it.
go for it. And to
She
me, that
killed
is
it.
something that I look up to. And at the end of the day, I would try it. Doesn't mean that it would work. I'd like to think I would try it, but it's just, I look up to so many people in this hobby, and now I look up to them even more because I can relate to them more, if
Yeah.
that makes any sense.
No, it does 100% because unfortunately the sad part, and I don't want to turn this negative, so I'm just gonna
Oh,
go past
yeah.
this real fast. Um, when I first came on, I used to look up to a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
and then when we get to a level where we start, you know, being able to communicate with each other
Yeah.
on a person, or finding out, you know, because you know this is a chatty,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we all love and all that, but you know, on the phone, you're like, did you see that video? So you find out a lot of stuff about
Mm-hmm.
their personal lives, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I used to like him, or I
Mm-hmm.
thought she was this. So yeah, unfortunately, that happens, and we're all human. But
Yeah.
basically, that's what I'm getting at. We're all human. We all have the
Yes.
same flaws. You know, we all have the same issues,
Mm-hmm.
regardless on how many subscribers you have. You
Yeah,
know,
it
you
doesn't
could
matter.
either yeah, you could be, you know, you have the same worries that everybody else does.
Mhm.
You could be a prick about the same issues that this person does. Like, you know, it's just we're all human. We're not ain't nobody out there regardless of sub superstars.
Yeah, and everybody gets nervous. I felt like I was the only one that got nervous filming by themselves in front of fish. I was like, why am I so nervous? But it seemed like everybody I talked to was like, oh, it happens. You're good. Just keep going. You're doing good.
Yeah,
I was like, okay.
I in high school I was in drama. I was a clown. I was always a class clown.
Mhm.
I did not shy away from you
Uh-huh.
know, people looking at me. I
Uh-huh.
was in the drama club, the drama class, and all that. Um, so it doesn't really bother me to do this.
Uh-huh.
But I do gotta admit, my first video, I was almost drunk, almost too drunk to do it, because I was like, ooh, I need to get the jitters out. I need to get
Yeah.
the jitters out. And we was talking earlier on how strange it is that so many fish tubers that put themselves out there for the world to see
Yeah.
and comment and judge and do or have these issues. You would
Yeah.
figure it would be the opposite, that they would shy away from it, but they
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
And that's a testament to how much they want to not let this thing, this issue that they're going through, this mental illness, physical illness or mental, emotional illness, you know, no matter how much it tries to, you know, beat them down, they still make the effort to try and put a video out there, press upload, and then just, you know.
Yeah. And I felt so like proud of myself. Like I knew the video probably wouldn't get that much traction. It probably wouldn't have that many views. The sound was awful. The video wasn't all that good. But you know what? I was so proud of myself because I told you a little bit before we started, I did not like to be in pictures. If I was in one of my classes at school, they're like, let's take a group shot. And I was like, no. I didn't want to be in family home videos. I grew up in the beauty pageant world, and I was always told that you were always a really good second place or first runner up. And it just it made me a little bit kind of self-conscious, I guess. But I was always good to like get up on stage. I could speak and stuff. But I think that kind of made me really shy, and I didn't talk a lot. So going from that to putting myself on YouTube, I was like, who is this? And ever since then, like I would get really nervous. I would go to upload and I was like, oh my gosh, just upload the video. It's been 2 days. It's been done. Just upload it. And so I'd do it. I'd get enough confidence. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Like I'm so proud of myself for actually like stopping talking about it and actually just doing it, even if it sucked. At least I did it. Huh?
What about now? What about now?
It's a lot easier now. Like I still get nervous and it's not for the same reasons. Now I was like, what's people are going to think, and you know, bad, hateful troll. Now I'm not worried about all that. Now I get a little nervous because I just don't want to let anybody in the fish fam down. And like, I want to do a good job to represent the community. But I think if I still do what I do and I don't second guess myself, we're good. I'm good. Just keep doing what you're doing and showing up to the battle, whether you're scared or not, is still better than not showing up at all. And now I've been like with back to school and kids and everything, I've been kind of slow on the uploads, but I'm still doing it. I'm still filming. Yeah. The editing process is slow, but I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
But so I never did drama or anything in school. The only thing in school that I did cheerleading one semester, I think it was actually a year. I did cheerleading one semester, and I was in charge. I was in a leadership class. So I was in charge of the student council, but I didn't have to be in front of anybody. I just ran the PowerPoints for the school assemblies. So I'd put all of the big PowerPoints and like get speakers, but I never had to be in front of anybody. It was always behind the scenes, but I never did drama or debate or any of that. So I was like, man, this is quite the endeavor that I'm proud of for doing.
I love drama class. I love drama class and drama club. It was, oh my God, when I found that, but in fact, it was my English teacher that told me that. She's the one that got me into drama because it's funny. Here's the story. So I was born in Brooklyn. I was raised high school in Virginia, right? And my English teacher tells me, Jay, I really think you should come out to the drama club. I have this part that's excellent for you. And I'm like, I don't know about that. You know, that's kind of geeky. You know, like it's, you know, the drama club.
Yeah.
Who's cool in a drama club? So she tells it. I go, okay. So I did it. You know, I thought, let me try it. And she gives me this part, and it's the part of a obnoxious boyfriend who tries to sexually assault her friend's his girlfriend's friend.
You're like, wait a second here.
Yeah, and I'm like, hold up. Her name was Miss Ridgway. I said, hold up, Miss Ridgway. What are you trying to say? You know, why am I perfect for this part? You know, but I did it. You know, and I loved it, and I actually got an award 1 year for funny. They actually made an award for me. It's like the funniest, you know, most comical actor. You know, they have you know, this, that, and other, and they gave me one for most comical. And I don't know. I don't try to be like, I don't sit down and go, okay, I'm gonna say, oh, that's funny. Let me say that. And let me say, I just talk.
It's just good. Every once in a while, like I'll be in a group. I'm like the quiet one in the group, of course. And every once in a while, I'll be around a group and I'll have like just one-liner that will come out of nowhere. Everybody's like, that was really funny. And I'm like, okay, that was my one line. I'll see you next year.
It was a zinger. They call it a zinger.
That's about it. Everybody will be like, where'd that come from? I'm like, I don't know. But
I talk to myself a lot too. So looking at a camera is not like my girlfriend. We're not married, but we've been together for like 16 years. You know what I mean? So we have 2 kids. So anyway, she catches me. I don't do it on purpose. I don't even know I'm doing it, but I'll talk to myself.
It keeps me on track.
Huh?
It keeps me on track. It's it's like my to-do post-it list in my head. And if I don't keep repeating it, then I'll forget what I need to do.
Yeah. And so like she'll look at me and my daughter will look at me and just this is all I get. Like I'm crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What you got? Somebody is the chat talking? We're just talking away. Is everybody saying
I'm talking. I talk.
That's right.
It seems like my phone chat's a little bit faster than the computer chat, but DPK is here.
DPK, what's up, brother? How you doing, man?
I hope your bucket list cichlid is doing good. Apparently, he's talking to Thirsty Rabbit's here somewhere.
Thirsty Rabbit, thanks to you. I love that guy.
I can listen to him talk all the time.
Yeah.
Just all kinds of cool people. But I sometimes get lost in the conversation and I feel bad that I don't keep up like with the chat like I should, but I'm doing slowly better, guys.
I do that too, and to be honest with you, when I first started, it was easy for me to talk, look at the chat, look at the chat. But as more people come to your chats, you start doing just basically reading the chat, and you're looking down the whole time, and you're not even saying what's on your mind, what people came there for. So unfortunately, when I do go live, I let the chat roll. Occasionally I'll stop, I'll pick one, just randomly pick one and look at it. But I never really like those chats where people just repeat everything somebody writes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's I enjoy all the chats. Like it seems like there's a few different structures to a few different people's, but I like and appreciate them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I will support anybody, almost anybody. There are some exceptions, but I will support anybody. But that doesn't mean I have to love their channel. You know what I mean? Like I love. Some people I just really, really enjoy their channels. Some people I'm friends with, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna support. I'm gonna watch this whole damn thing, and I'm like, ugh. Man, spice it up a little bit. If you're gonna force me to watch this, you better spice it up. But you know what I mean? It's just
he's laughing at you over here. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, he knows what I'm talking about. Like, dang, man, you're killing me, buddy. You're killing me.
When I've been doing YouTube about 3 years too. I would say the first year I wasn't taking it serious. It was really just looking for help with my undergrad research because I didn't know what I was doing. And then the last 2.5 years, I've taken it a lot more serious. And the first chunk, he was supportive, but he did not understand my love for YouTube. And now, since Aquashella last year, everything's changed, and he gets it now, and he got bit by the bug, and everything is so much better as a group project because I don't know how to build stuff like this stand behind me. Yeah. And the food stand, all that. They didn't even want my advice. They just told me how I was going to get it. And I was like, okay.
It's so much easier. Life is so much better when your significant other is on board. You know what I mean? It's just, like there'll be times where she was like, ooh, we should put a fish tank there. Yes!
Yeah!
Yes!
I took him to the fish store, and it was when we got the freshwater lionfish. We named it Lucy, or it came with the name Lucy. But I went in, I just wanted some fish food, but I kind of get sick of doing stuff for myself. So I was like, come with me. And he fell in love with this fish. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I don't even care how much it costs. He's like, let's go Smart, and we'll pick out an aquarium. And he got a 40 breeder and all this. We spent like way too much money, but I was like, I did not care because this was something that he said he wanted, and that we should go get an aquarium, and we should go set it up. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome.
Yeah. But you know, that's awesome. Like, you know, my old lady, she's still not there yet where she's, you know, there's been times. So what kind of okay, so let me ask you. All right, so he got freshwater lionfish. Now he got the bug, and dudes normally go for the big fish.
Yeah, he likes the bigger monster fish for sure.
So what's his dream fish right now?
He hasn't really talked about dream fish, but I would say his dream is for me to get my fish room on one central airline pump, so I don't have plugins everywhere. I think because he likes, that's kind of what got him into it, honestly, was all my filters would slowly break. And I would just throw them away and get a new one. He's like, these are fixable. You don't have to throw these away every time they get clogged. And I was like, no, really? And so he took them apart. And then as he would put them back on the aquariums, he would look. And he's like, oh, these shrimp are kind of cool. And he likes the plants because he does tree work. So I just think he naturally likes and knows more about plant stuff than I do. And it kind of eased him in. But the behind the scenes of how things are plumbed and put together and that aspect of it, he finds way more appealing than actual, like, coming down here and staring at the tanks, which he still does. But
he likes the mechanics of everything.
He likes that stuff a lot. But his favorite thing to do is feed the arowana. He'll go outside and get earthworms and grasshoppers. And he has a 15-year-old son that makes pit stops through every once in a while. And that's what they get a kick out of that arowana jumping and trying to eat.
How many tanks do you have?
I think I'm up to like almost 30 in the house, and then I have.
And you don't have a central air system?
No.
Oh, you gotta get yourself
I've told this story before, but I was doing water changes with 1 gallon. You know those drink gallon water jugs. I was filling all of these up 1 gallon at a time all day long, listening to your guys' Sunday streams, and so now I've got a little bit of a better water change system, so I don't have to do every gallon by hand. But I always vacuumed out the tanks and then I filled them up one at a time, and then I put a little bit of time in it
with the iced tea jug.
Yeah. Like I would have like four of them, and I would just and I would have one good arm muscle from dumping. And I would take my little 5-gallon buckets and dump them outside, and it would take me a long time.
I would imagine.
So I always keep the whisper filters and the heaters and everything very separated. So now I'm learning. It seems like everybody that puts out a video over, like, I got into the sponge filters this year. I was like, oh my gosh, these are so cool. For some reason in my head, I thought they'd be super loud. Because the fish room, it's not very loud. And that's what I like. So I was worried for some reason in my head it would sound like a noisy fish store. But they don't. And so we're definitely going to make the jump soon, probably to that, just to get rid of all of these.
Yeah.
Hang on the back filters.
Yes, please.
Yeah, he's like, yes, please. But at the same time, I'm super attached to the filtration, like the biological filtration aspect, because I have them all kind of tweaked. But it seems like I'm down to 4 aquariums now that don't even have filters because I've had them running for so long and I just got tired of them clogging. So I have quite a few that they don't even have filters on them, and they're doing really well with the plants. So I'll eventually switch it over, but it's just doing it.
So those little tanks though, do they have a lot? Do they have air or no air? No filtration?
No, the ones that I don't have any, they're just plants. They don't
See,
have
that's amazing.
they don't have a very high stock rate. There's three guppies in a 5-gallon that has no filter, and then I think I never can remember their name. They're like a knife belly live bear or a yellow bellied live bear. There's 3 of them in a 5-gallon.
I'm terrible at live bears.
Yeah.
Live bears, I'm terrible.
This one right here, it has a filter on it, but it hasn't worked in like 4 months. So all of this one, there's a heater in it. This one's got a heater in it right here. But all of this, move the camera down. Let me move my chair a little bit. That doesn't have any type of filter on it or air stone. That one right there. Mm-hmm. And there's green tiger endlers and a Cheese Creek pleco in there.
I had a tank out when I'm in Florida, right? And I had this 29-gallon that was outside. And, I forgot why I put it up or why I abandoned it, but I just totally forgot about this dang on tank. I didn't intend on. And one day I went around the side of my shed. This is when I had my fish room in the shed, and it was thriving. It had guppy grass everywhere. Yeah. I didn't do water check. I didn't feed it. It was underneath a tree, so all the little bacterias and all would fall in. And so I had no air stone. Yeah. I remember RLC Aquatics came to my house, and he was like amazed and baffled that tank existed. You know, it's just a 29-gallon. Yeah. It was in the perfect spot where the sun produced enough algae to support the fish and the without, and it wasn't green. That's the thing. It wasn't a green tank.
The ones with no filter are the clearest tanks I have. I have a water that's direct. It's another 5-gallon. Yeah. And it's got I can't pronounce it right, of course. It's like the Guppy Obscura. It's a newer one that was named. It has been discovered for a while, but I think it was newly named. And shrimp in it. And it's got a lot of algae in it, but it's still crystal clear, and it's got nothing. It's just got light on it. It's just got a light on it. But I've had them established. They've been running for years, and there's more and more I keep adding plants, but they're the clearest tanks I have. And I'm like, why am I fighting so hard with these dang filters with the ones that don't have nothing on the ones that are like pristine?
Yeah. The cleanest tanks I have are sponge filter tanks.
Yeah.
Now, okay, let me tell you, because a lot of people mistake clear water with removing particles from water. Like, I don't mind particles.
Yeah, I don't
mind particles. But some people mistake that. They're like, oh, it's dirty. No, that's just particles floating around. But the water is actually super, super clear, you know? So, and that's because of all that biological filtration.
When I do a water change on it, it does take a while for it to settle down because there's nothing. It's just kind of stagnant. But I don't clean them. I've definitely backed up. I was doing water changes and pretty heavy aquarium vacuuming, like once a week. But now I do them every 2 weeks, and I don't take out near the amount of water I used to. It's like 10% now. And I just let the plants do their thing. And if there's a little bit of fish poop on the bottom or something, I don't worry about it like I used to. And it seems like things have gotten. I still have some issues. I'm still learning about the plants and everything. Not every single one is perfectly balanced. I grow really good algae because I can't turn off the light, but I'm doing lots better.
Hey, did you guys answer DBK's question?
What is it?
Funk and Science Gal, what mental benefits we both
He's got a question. Just ask it so they know what you're talking about.
DBK wants to know, Funk and Science Gal, what mental benefits both of you get from fish keeping? You don't have to go too deep into it. Just how it helps you both.
How fish keeping helps us both?
Yeah.
Mentally. You want to go first?
Me personally, I know when because I got to the point where just going into the grocery store, I would get up to the grocery store door and I'd freak out and have a panic attack. I couldn't, my social anxiety, I have OCD, I've seen doctors for years, and I wouldn't say I'm allergic to the medicine, but I'm highly sensitive to medication that they give me. So I just kind of deal with all of it. And there's some times that I just have to be by myself and kind of zone out. But I know when I do come down to the fish room and I just can concentrate on one thing at a time, and it seems like getting my hand, being around water helps me too, and the warm water, and just making myself literally concentrate on, I'm going to feed this fish tank today and just breathe. Or I'm going to just concentrate on this fish tank today and do algae. And it might take me an hour. It might take me a couple days to pull through it. But it seems like forcing myself to come down here and just concentrating on one thing. And not, because with mine, it seems like we went on that road trip and I, in my head, was trying to solve every single problem we could possibly come upon in my head at once. And none of it happened. And even the bad stuff that happened, we had car trouble. None of it worked out in my head as bad as, So it seems like it's not often that I have some hiccups, but it's coming down here in fish room and just letting myself not think about everything at once and just concentrating on that one thing. It does help. It does help a lot. And I'm glad that I, one, have someone that lets me have this many fish tanks, and two, that I have this community that I can share it with, because just knowing that I'm not alone and everybody seems like has some issues here and there, that I don't have to feel so alone, that helps. If that answered your question.
We're all a bunch of fish geeks.
Yes.
For me, honestly, see, that's a difficult question for me to answer, because I want to say something profound. I do, but to be honest with you, it keeps me busy.
Yeah.
I do have an affinity for water. I like fresh water, but honestly, I really enjoy watching the fish and seeing how they react to certain things. Like, oh, look at that fish. He's a punk. He's a punk. He's just bossing. Or look at that fish. Like, if he ever decides to try and mess with that one, he, kind of get to observe their personality. How they act, and the differences between the species and stuff like that. So it does that for me. It keeps me occupied. It keeps me at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it saves me money. I'm not out trying to, buy or spend money going here, going there. But for a lot of people, everybody knows that aquariums are stress relievers. Unfortunately, when you're a fish tuber, it might be a cause of stress, but like, oh, I gotta get this tank clean before I do this live stream. People could think I'm a lazy sack of this, you know what I mean? But that's the whole stress thing. I'm trying to do something now, and COVID-19 is really making it hard for me. Where I got tired of hearing people talk about stuff. I wanted to actually do something. Yeah. So starting a thing here in Florida, in Tampa area first, where I would like to put aquariums in the homes of people who can't afford them. Because I go to the pet store all the time, and you always see people who want fish, but when the associate starts talking about the price, you see them shying away.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't have the money for this, I remember when I was growing up, I didn't have the money for this. And if I had, when I was a kid, my parents had an aquarium in the house, and I got hooked on aquariums at, let's say, 15 years old.
Yeah.
What would my life be like now? Would I have gone to school for it? Would I be a oceanographer? Would I be a ichthyologist? Would I be a pet store owner? What would I be if I had this? Because right now, the stuff that I know now, let's say I knew that when I was 15, it can spark a lot of possibilities. Not to mention, well, back to the thing, I really feel like there are people that are in dire straits right now, especially with everything going on. and they're just depressed. People are mean to each other. I don't care what political spectrum you are. Everybody's mean to each other. Everybody looks at each other in judgment. Everybody is got too much going on in their life to worry about somebody else. And I think right now is the perfect time to put an aquarium in somebody using the proper precautions and all that stuff, and give somebody a little bit of a little oasis in all this chaos. You know, it's really difficult right now because people want to shy away from, oh, you want to go to someone's house and do what?
Yeah.
So I'm having problems doing that. But like, for instance, you know, with DPKs, there's a lot of people out there that that could use a little stress relief, you know, a little break from their minds, it's a little break from reality, and aquariums do that for a lot of people, you know.
Yeah, I know it helps my dad just from relating with my dad. Sometimes he confuses, say he watches a TV show and he'll get it confused with reality. He watched Twister one time and he thought that there was like a huge thunderstorm coming, and he just gets really, because they took a portion of his right frontal lobe out. And I know with him, just personally, it gives him something to look forward to and to watch and just to kind of zone out on. And for that moment, you know, he's just having a good time in the aquarium. And it's something, even through all of the stuff he's been through, he still knows tons about fish. So I'm really thankful that he hasn't lost that. Even through all of the stuff he's been through, he still is obsessed with fish. And that's where I got it from, I'm sure. So just relating to it with my dad, I know it helps tremendously with him and his day. It gives him, every time he wakes up, it gives him something to check on.
So you had an aquarium growing up
in
your home?
This one, I'll spin this. It's this exact. Jesse, move.
Hey! Don't try hard.
What's up?
Let's get over.
Big brother's looking at you now.
This one right here, that 30-gallon, and Stan, that's the exact aquarium. We fixed it up and re-siliconed it, but that's the one that was in my living room my entire childhood. Mom had it.
37-year-old tank.
Yeah, at least 30 something.
So at what age did you start appreciating tanks for yourself?
I always had a tank. Like when I moved out in my 20s, I just always had a tank. I just had the one. I just assumed that's what you moved out, got an apartment now. I did not know what I was doing until I took ecology in college. It all clicked because I just did, Dad said water change, half the water once a week, fill it up out of the tap. You don't need anything. Whatever you find at the fish store you like, put it in there. Doesn't matter if they get along. Species doesn't care. If you like it, it's pretty, stick it in there. Buy 2 or 3 at the time. But I took ecology in college, and the nitrogen cycle, the water cycle, species import, just everything, it clicked in one moment. And I was like, that's why you do that? And then I wanted, my teacher in college was like, he always talked about evolution and seeing all this stuff. And I was like, so I ran a guppy experiment, one with stress and one without, to see how they would manipulate the generations and kind of see natural selection and evolution in somewhat real time. And he gave me, you can't do this. This is too much work. Hated every minute of it. And I was like, but I'm really excited about doing it. And doing all of that research made everything fall into place. And I've always appreciated the hobby, always had tanks. But now it's a whole new love because I understand it. Now, that doesn't mean I know nothing still about it on the scale of like knowing things, but I can learn stuff and, you know, gain information from the community and all this stuff. And it's just every day something new. You learn something new and you're like, oh, okay, that's why they do that. It's just fascinating.
When I worked at the LFS, whenever we got live rock, saltwater live rock. It came in 5-gallon buckets, right? And from shipping, they would hit each other, and the stuff would break off. So whenever you put all the live rock in the tanks, you would have a nice little amount of sediment at the bottom from where this live rock banged each other. And sometimes these live rock had spores from like starfish or this corals. They would have stuff on them. Yeah. And I did this thing at home where I took 2 10-gallon tanks and set them up as saltwater tanks and put them on opposite sides of the room, because it was amazing to me how you can put the same bucket, but you put half of that stuff in one tank and half in the other. And because they were on different sides of the room, they got slight different changes. Like the sun would hit this tank and not this tank. Yeah. And you could see like you was talking about evolution. You could see how different, like one tank would grow more of this than the other. And it was really cool for me to watch, basically, like things evolve, from the same material being put in different circumstances. And you asked me, DPK said, what do I like about it? That type of stuff is like that's amazing to me. Exact same stuff, just one gets a little bit more sunlight than the other. Everything's the same, and it's completely different tank. Yeah,
I'm like fascinated with the rice fish outside because I have 2 different kinds. I have the Pearl Galaxy and the Daisy Blue Daisy. Now that I'm thinking about it, my mind goes blank. And one is like super active, always at the surface, it's not skittish. And the other ones you barely see. They're always at the bottom. And I'm just fascinated by how even just 2 different types of rice fish act so completely different.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's fascinating.
The whole cause and effect and adaptations. That's what interests me about aquarium more than anything else too. I'm glad he asked that.
Like just changing your substrate with the guppies can influence their color patterns, and it's just interesting to be like, okay, I want this one to be sand, I want this one to be gravel, I want this one to be dark, because you do get all different color patterns even from the same strand of guppies, just depending on what your tank's set up like. And it's interesting, it's fascinating to see what you can get. And I think that's why I like the live bears so much, because his phone's ringing.
Hello? Is that an old school phone?
You just never know what you're going to get. And each generation comes out so fast. Each one's different.
Hold on, wait. We're not just going to walk past the fact that I just heard an old school phone.
Yeah, no,
it was his
cell phone. It was his cell phone.
Oh, you didn't have the ring? Oh, I thought you had the
old school ringer, man.
Oh, okay. I was like, hold up. What's going on over there?
We still have a house phone.
Really?
We still have a house phone at my parents' house, and everybody's like, really? A house phone? I'm like, yeah, it's for my dad because it's right there, and he can get a hold of my mom really easily. But This might be church. But yeah, he has a house phone line at my parents' house, and everybody's like, wow. I'm like, okay.
You have an incredibly organized fish room. Like, scoot to the left or the right a little bit. Look at that shelf.
Yeah.
My shelves don't look nothing like that.
Yeah, it's my tiny little shelf of. I have.
No, I'm talking about the shelf of food.
Yeah.
My stuff is. Look at that right there. That black one right in the back. Everything's nice and they're facing
these are my bag foods. These are everything that comes in a bag. This is the bottom, like pleco food. These are guppy foods up here, and then down. Stop messing with that. And then down here is my camera. Like my extra camera stuff, I just throw in that basket. And then down at the very bottom, that's my Easy Green, my Prime, all of that pump stuff.
My fish supply situation looks nothing like it. Look, it's on the top of my tank. I got stuff up there.
It just depends on what day.
Everywhere's thrown all over the place. I got to search for everything.
Yeah. That's incredible. My back room, I try to organize it it seems like I'm down here every week. I'm like, I'm going to make this better, but it's still, no matter how much I organize, it's still a mess. But that's kind of like the family storage unit. And then I have a couple shelves back there that I have extra air pumps if I need them. It's usually if I'll get new fish in and stick them in a 5-gallon bucket for until I get something organized, and I'll put an air stone in it and then put them in their tank. But all that stuff I don't normally use. Medications I thought I needed tons of, but I just always use salt and heat. Never use it. So
yeah, I'm the same way. I like triangles. Now I'm trying to find on some tea tree oil, just pure tea tree oil. You know, so I don't have to, because that's the main ingredient in a lot of the things, tea tree oil.
Yeah, we use tea tree oil as scalp treatments at the salon. I put a couple drops on people's scalp and rub their scalp as a treatment at the salon.
Yeah, I could never do that. I could never touch some stranger's scalp. Ew.
Well, I give people pedicures, so I'm good.
No way. I ain't touching no one's feet. I ain't touching no one's
people's hands that gross me out. I can handle your feet because you've been in your shoes or your sandals. I can put you in the tub with some soap for 10 minutes. Your feet are good. But your hands, manicures, it's the manicures that get me. It's the manicures that get me. Odd fact about me.
We was talking about like social disorders and stuff like that. I wouldn't call it like something serious. I'm not Howie Mandel, but I don't like strangers touching.
Yeah.
You know, like if it's somebody I know, I have, you know, I like I got this guy I work with. He's got a bad habit of going, hey, you know, like every time he talks, hey, he does this. That bugs me to death. But if I really don't know you and you touch me, I can do handshakes. But like, you know, this right here or hugs, I don't like it.
It makes me uncomfortable because I don't know what to do because I'm not going to do that back.
Yeah, well, I just don't know where your hands have been.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I get it. Especially
like,
now.
I would never, if I had a bachelor party, I'd be like, hey, man, I appreciate it, but I don't want nobody I don't know rubbing stuff on my face. No, I can't. I don't want to be rude or nothing. And
no, I get it.
I'm going to tell you a story that I'm embarrassed about. It's not really like I'm embarrassed, but it gives you a little idea. I'm a trained Harley mechanic, right? I don't do that now for a living, but I did go to school and I was a Harley technician for a couple years. And while I was going to school in Orlando, Florida, for Harley technician, I was standing at a bus stop. Not bus stop, I'm sorry. I was crossing the street, so it was at the stoplight. And this professional woman was also crossing the street, and it was Orlando. It was hot and sweaty, and she was wearing some really high heels. And so she was standing next to me, and I guess she had something in her shoe, and she reached down to get it out of her shoe and lost her balance. And so that she didn't fall, she kind of, and I'm embarrassed by the situation, but I'm not. She grabbed me to hold herself from falling, and instinctively I went, ew, like this, ew, like. And after it was done, we kind of looked at each other. She looked at me with she was embarrassed, and I looked at her like I was embarrassed, because I would rather somebody hurt themselves than let them touch me. And she felt embarrassed, and I was like, man, I'm such a prick. I can't believe I did that. I wish I could take that back in my life.
Yeah.
That one moment, I wish I could take that back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt bad about that.
Well, I'm a klutz, and my friends just let me fall. Just funny.
No, don't get me wrong. You know,
yeah.
Yeah, if like when I was in the Army, I'm a combat medic trained and all that stuff. But I don't recertify myself to get CPR. I don't recertify because I don't think I would use it. I honestly don't, and I feel bad about that, but I honestly don't.
If I could take back all the times I was a stuck-up snob in my 20s, man.
Yeah.
I've spent a lot of time apologizing to friends or acquaintances of the past because I just feel bad now that you get older, and you're like, man, I shouldn't have been like that, And So I
People
don't
that I've
talk
said
to
terrible things
very
to.
many of them anymore, but I have I'm sorry. We got a super chat from Multi-Tank Addiction, a $2 super chat.
Chris!
Tell Funk
Hello,
I
hello,
will
hello!
give him a hug the first time I see him.
Who's that?
Multi-Tank Addiction. If I
Give
can
who a
talk,
hug?
Chris, he's gonna give you a hug the first time he
No
sees you.
way, Chris. I can't. No.
I know.
Hey.
I've done hair for 15 years now, and my clients just naturally would give me a hug after their haircut, and it took me an embarrassing amount of time to be comfortable with them just saying thank you and giving me a hug, because I grew up in a family that we didn't do that. So it took a long time to be that's just their way of saying thank you, and you don't have to be such a snob about and I felt so bad about it as I've grown up, but
Hey,
I'm better.
You do pedicures?
I do.
So have you ever thought? Now, do you own the shop you work at, or
No, I don't want to.
You don't want to? Have you ever thought about talking to your owner or whatever about getting those fish that eat people's feet? Funk.
I've joked about it in the past, and no one is I thought it would be kind of fun to do it one time just to have the experience, but no one else that shares that. They're like, no. I'm like, okay. I'm just to do it one time to be just to have the experience, but they don't want any part of it. They think it's gross. But plus, I don't think the inspection lady would appreciate me putting fish in the pedicure tubs and then trying to get all that sanitized. But if I could get by with it once, I probably would. Just to have the experience.
Because you can buy. There are places here you can buy them.
Yeah, because I think it's just isn't it just a type of minnow? I could be wrong though.
I don't know.
I don't remember. But
let me see something. Lucky Schmuck just tried and call me, and he messed up my volume.
But it has been an hour. If you need to go, I'm totally good with.
Oh yeah.
On the little one. I need to go feed the little one.
Before I leave, can I just say one thing?
Yeah, go for it.
Listen, guys, on my live stream I did yesterday, in the description section, there is a link to DPK's channel where you can watch his video. I'm gonna warn you right now, it's not a feel-good video. It's a video of something that he's going through in his life. There's also a link in the description of the live stream I did yesterday of a PayPal and a GoFundMe. If you don't have money to donate, that's fine. Some kind words would also go a long way. But we're trying to get him past this hurdle that he's going through right now. Not going to say it's going to cure him, because what he's going through, what a lot of people are going through, are lifelong issues. It's going to be there. So we're just trying to help him through this hurdle and get him on his feet so he could help himself later on. So yes. I appreciate you guys that have already helped so far. It has gotten him to a point where he's can be mobile and seek help, a place to live and whatnot. But like I said, every penny counts. So thank you very much. If you can do anything, thank you very much. If you can, go there and just leave some kind words, I appreciate you.
And I wanted to add the link to the description too. As soon as we get off of here, I was going to copy and paste the link for the description. So if you can't find it, I can leave it in the comments or the description, just whatever you guys. I appreciate you being on and talking to me about it, and best wishes to DPK, just whatever we can do. And I know Susan, the fish fan mom, is going through a really tough time right now, and I just want to send her as much love and prayers as I possibly can. So if you guys want to keep positive thoughts for her and her family right now. Also, there's been a couple of things in the community that have been a little hard that I just want to try to do is whatever we can to support them. So, but thank you for being here super last minute and talking to me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
But thank you guys for being here, and I will see you guys next Friday at 5 o'clock Central Time. Thank you guys.